প্রতিদিনই দেখা যাচ্ছে খবরের কাগজ খুললেই দেখা যাচ্ছে সামান্য কারণে ছেলেটি বা মেয়েটি আত্মহত্যা করছে, না বিষয় বা ভালোবাসাতে বা প্রেমে প্রতিহত। এইসব কারণ ছোট ছোট তুচ্ছ কারণে ছেলেমেয়েরা আত্মহত্যা করছে। অভিভাবকেরা শাসন করতে গেলে এই বিষয়ে তারা আত্মহত্যা করছে। একটা মানুষ অল্প বয়সী ছেলেমেয়েদের মধ্যে একটা মানসিক রোগ হয়ে দাঁড়াচ্ছে। এটা একটা ধীরে ধীরে একটা জাতীয় সমস্যা বা সামাজিক সমস্যা হয়ে দাঁড়াচ্ছে। এই প্রতিকারের উপায় আমরা খুঁজে পেয়েছি স্বামী বিবেকানন্দের কিছু কথাতে। আমরা মেডিকেল কলেজে, আইআইটিতে সব জায়গাতে একই রকম সমস্যা। এই স্বামীজির কথাগুলো তাদের মধ্যে বলে আমরা অনেক উপকার পেয়েছি। ছেলেগুলো অনেক ব্যালেন্স আছে, রাষ্ট্র শক্তিশালী হয়ে উঠছে। ভালোবাসাটা মানুষের মধ্যে কিভাবে হয়, এটা আমরা যেমনি ব্রেন রিসার্চ সেন্টারে গিয়ে আধুনিকভাবে বৈজ্ঞানিক পদ্ধতিতে কিছু ব্রেনের যে সিস্টেম, ভালোবাসা হলে ব্রেনে কি হয়, শরীরের মধ্যে কি হয়, সেই সব কথাগুলো আমরা খুঁজে পেয়েছি। সেই সব কথাগুলো যেমনি আমরা যুবক যুবতীদের মধ্যে বলছি, তেমনি স্বামীজির কথা মানে ফিলোসফি অফ লাভ, ব্রেন ইন লাভ, কেমিস্ট্রি অফ লাভ, তারপরে আমরা পাচ্ছি ফিলোসফি অফ লাভ। এই স্বামীজির প্রেম সম্বন্ধে কত আধুনিক কথা লিখে গেছে সেটা তোমাদের শোনাবো। আশা করি এই কথাগুলো শুনলে তোমাদের চিত্ত মন শান্ত হবে, তোমরা তোমাদের পড়াশোনার জীবনে, তোমাদের কর্মজীবনে অনেক বেশি দক্ষ হয়ে উঠবে। এটা হচ্ছে কর্মযোগ। কর্মযোগে স্বামীজি কী বলছেন আমরা শুনব। মনে করো একজন পুরুষ একটি মেয়েকে ভালোবাসে। সে একাই তাহাকে পরিপূর্ণভাবে ভোগ করিতে চায়। তাহার প্রতিটি গতিবিধি সম্বন্ধে পুরুষটির মনে ঈর্ষার উদয় হয়। সে চায় মেয়েটি তার কাছে বসুক, তার কাছে দাঁড়াক, তাহার ইঙ্গিতে খাওয়া দাওয়া চলাফেরা প্রভৃতি সব কাজ করুক। সে ওই মেয়েটির কৃতদাস এবং মেয়েটির নিজের দাসী করিয়া রাখিতে চায়। ইহা ভালোবাসা নয়, ইহা এক প্রকার দাসসুলভ অনুরাগের বিকার। ভালোবাসার মতন দেখাইতেছে, বস্তুত ইহা ভালোবাসা নয়, ইহা ভালোবাসা হইতে পারে না, কারণ উহা যন্ত্রণাদায়ক। যদি মেয়েটি তাহার ইচ্ছা অনুযায়ী কাজ না করে তবে তাহার কষ্ট হইবে। ভালোবাসায় কোনো দুঃখকর প্রতিক্রিয়া নাই, ভালোবাসার প্রতিক্রিয়ায় কেবল আনন্দই হইয়া থাকে। ভালোবাসিয়া যদি আনন্দই না হয় তবে উহা ভালোবাসা নয়, অন্য কিছুকে আমরা ভালোবাসা বলিয়া ভুল করিতেছি। যখন তুমি তোমার স্বামীকে, স্ত্রীকে, পুত্র কন্যাকে, সমুদয় পৃথিবীকে, বিশ্বজগৎকে এমনভাবে ভালোবাসিতে সমর্থ হইবে যে তাহাতে কোনো রকম দুঃখ, ঈর্ষা বা স্বার্থপরতার প্রতিক্রিয়া হইবে না, তখন তুমি প্রকৃতপক্ষে অনাসক্ত হইতে পারিবে। প্রকৃত ভালোবাসা ভৌতিক বা শারীরিক আকর্ষণের উপর কিছুমাত্র নির্ভর করে না। এইরূপ প্রেমিকগণ পরস্পরের নিকট হইতে সহস্র মাইল ব্যবধানে থাকিতে পারে, কিন্তু তাহাতে ভালোবাসা অটুট থাকিবে, ইহা বিনষ্ট হইবে না, উহাইতে কোনো যন্ত্রণাদায়ক প্রতিক্রিয়া হইবে না।
Students think that the brain is sort of the consistency of a rubber ball, and that's because in the laboratories and teaching specimens we have fixed, formalin-fixed brains. However, if you're a trauma surgeon or a neurosurgeon, you realize that the brain is really very, very soft and much more vulnerable than the impression you get looking at the fixed brain. So I would like to show you a 1,400 gram brain that has just been removed from an autopsy, and we are fortunate enough to be able to show you what a normal, unfixed, recently deceased patient's brain would look like. This is the ventral surface of the brain, and what you see are the Peel vessels, this nice blush with the clear leptomeninges and the vessels running in between the arachnoid and the pia. The cerebral spinal fluid has leaked out through the cisterns, and so the subarachnoid space is no longer visible unless I move the brain, but it's very, very soft. Notice, it's totally squishy. It's the consistency, it's much softer than most of the meat you would see in a market. So if I were to pinch this in either way, I could easily damage this with my thumb. In fact, neurosurgeons, when they are doing surgery, often just evacuate with a vacuum or suck out parts of the brain. This string here has been placed around the basilar artery so it can be suspended in a bucket of formaldehyde in order to denature the protein and harden it. If we didn't, it would sit on the bottom of the bucket and the brain would become deformed, as you would see here, so that it would be compressed in this direction just from the weight of the brain. So that points out one of the purposes of the cerebrospinal fluid is to float the brain inside the calvarium and act as a cushion. The cerebellum is easily seen, the medulla, the pons. Here you can see the arachnoid spanning across the space here at the base of the brain. The optic nerves are very obvious, as are the olfactory nerves. Here are our temporal lobes, and here is the uncus on either side. The uncus, remember, is the most mesial part of the temporal lobe. The tentorium that fit in here has been removed, but we can see a slight groove right along here where the tentorium sat. So there is no evidence in this brain of any of the temporal lobe herniating medially over the edge of the tentorium. It's a beautiful specimen. Unfortunately, this cancer patient died of complications secondary to a cell transplant. Here you can see how soft and pliable the dura is, and we can look down between the hemispheres and see the corpus callosum. I can also see a bit of the anterior cerebral artery coming over the surface. So this is the interhemispheric fissure. And if I turn the brain around and we look at the occipital lobe, we can see the top of the cerebellum. And here there is a very small amount of blood that was actually seen on MRI that the patient had before death. If I let the cerebellum hang down a little bit, you can see the superior surface of the cerebellum. Turn it back around. So our very delicate and vulnerable brain, with its two vertebral arteries on the medulla, its basilar artery on the pons, it's branching to the posterior cerebral artery right here where you have the cerebral peduncle, and here we have the space here is the interpeduncular cistern, and we can see the two mammillary bodies. The pituitary gland stayed within the body, and here you can see the base of the brain with the optic nerve, the chiasm, and the tract. You can see here an impression, a depression just from where I was holding the brain. Just from holding it that small amount of time, the depression from my finger is clearly visible. Think how vulnerable the brain is, then think how narrow and small the spinal cord is, and what a devastating consequence just a quick subluxation of the vertebra or a herniation of the disc can cause to the delicate spinal cord, which is about the width of one of these gyri. These gyri are nice. There's no big space between them, but neither does it look particularly swollen for a patient of this age.
I believe it was Kesha that said, "Your love, your love, your love is my drug." And you know what? Neurobiologists just might agree with that. Hey everyone, Lacey Green here for D News. Kesha is only one of the most recent in a long line of artists who have compared love to a drug. I mean, the highs and lows of love are really one of the main inspirations out there for art and music. And there's a neurobiological basis for all the hubbub. The experience of love is super intense and real. In the brain, it actually looks a bit like you're on cocaine. One of the major evolutionary theories posited by neurobiologists separates romantic love into 3 stages. The first is lust, which is the spark of attraction that kind of makes you think about sexy things with them, like kissing them or touching them, you know, like you're really far from being repulsed by them. During this stage, men and women experience a spike in testosterone, the hormone responsible for sex drive. For some relationships, the lust is, you know, consummated and then they move on. But some relationships go on to stage 2. Stage 2 is the attraction phase. This is when things get a little more crazy up here. If triggered, dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin take your brain temporarily hostage. People in this phase seem like they're losing their mind, and in a way, they kind of are. Dopamine pathways in the brain trigger the brain's reward system, which is responsible for the obsessive behavior. You crave them, can't wait to see them. You think about all the wonderful possibilities that you have together. Norepinephrine makes your heart race and your hands clammy. You might lose sleep or experience a decrease in appetite. And serotonin, the hormone responsible for feelings of peace and calm, dips down when you're falling in love because nature's a jerk. So we feel heightened anxiety, and in combination with dopamine, we feel the highest highs when things go well and the lowest of lows when they don't. In relationships where the attraction phase is experienced by both people, things are all intense and euphoric for a little while, but then they mellow out as the couple advances to stage 3. Stage 3 is the attachment phase. It's when you settle and get comfortable with your partner, anxieties drop, and you begin forming a deeper and more intimate bond as you get to know each other really, really well, sometimes too well. And you learn that your relationship maybe isn't so hot now that you're not basically high all the time. The stage's main hormone is oxytocin. Oxytocin is a cuddle hormone, and it's released when people touch, both sexually and non-sexually. It's responsible for the intense bond between mom and baby, and for the days you feel after you have an orgasm. Oxytocin is the hormonal glue in a long-term relationship, and in a healthy relationship, it leaves you with a profound sense of attachment and trust, which is a good foundation for what sometimes comes next, having kids. Personally, I think understanding the neurobiology behind love makes it that much more beautiful, that love is so essential to our species that it's hardwired in our brains. But I do know people who feel like it's really unromantic and just too technical, takes away all the magic. So let me know what your take is in the comments below, and if you haven't seen it yet, go show some love to Anthony's video because I think he's feeling a bit of Valentine's Day stress. I'll see you guys next time.
Ah, love. When a young man's eye sphincter dilates his pupils as part of the autonomic nerve response. Anthony here for D News, and we've all felt what it's like to have a crush on someone, pulse racing, stomach full of butterflies, not being able to get them out of your thoughts. But what is causing all that? What is going on in our brains when we are falling for someone? A 1991 anthropological survey of 166 societies found romantic love in 147 of them, and in the other 19, they were not looking for it. So we can assume that we are built to love, and all those fluttering stomachs and sweaty palms are the result of systems built specifically to do those things. And the sweaty palm thing is just an unfortunate evolutionary choice. So you meet someone special or you see them, that fluttering heart you're feeling is the result of a neurotransmitter that is associated with alertness and influences our reward system. It's important for concentration and decision making. It's also super important in our fight or flight mechanism, that evolutionary holdover from our days in the wild. Your heart beats faster, you get more oxygen in your brain, your body is trying to psych you up to just talk to that person or eat them or run away forever. It's your choice. Any of the 3 should work. The butterflies in your stomach are part of the same instinctive response. Your body releases a ton of adrenaline and sends it to your lungs and your muscles, and you're also directing extra blood flow there, as well as your brain, which leaves very little blood for your poor stomach, which is where all that fluttering comes in. Dopamine is what's making you feel those fireworks when a new person is around, that pleasure high. We used to think dopamine was a simple reward neurochemical. You do something that feels good and your brain makes some to let you know. But now we know it's more about novelty. Something has to unexpectedly feel good in order for dopamine to be released. In a study, researchers turned on a light before they gave rats juice. For the first few days, the rats released crazy amounts of dopamine, but after a while, they knew that the lights meant the juice was coming and their brain released less and less dopamine. When you first meet someone and you are having a great time, your brain is like, whoa, new person, and they like us and they're fun, this is great. Dopamine also heightens your attention, causes sleeplessness, makes you more goal-oriented. That's why you can't think of anything but that person. Well, it's part of it. People in new love also show lower than average levels of serotonin in an fMRI. Low serotonin is also found in people with obsessive-compulsive disorder. What's funny is that a lot of psychologists and relationship experts tell you to try to not end up with someone who gives you too much of these physical reactions, because they're similar to a lot of addictive behaviors, and chasing those feelings all the time can lead to mismatched, unstable relationships. If you like this stuff and you want to hear more about it, I got a lot of my research from our friend Kristen Conger over at Stuff Mom Never Told You. Go check out her show because she is the jam, and subscribe here for more D News.